Thank you for taking the time to view this presentation. My name is Branch Staten, and this presentation is covering the Interconnection Security Agreement as part of the Certification and Accreditation course through the University of Fairfax. The presentation is going to cover how the Interconnection Security Agreement is applicable, and in this case, it's going to have a backdrop of using a home computer system as the home business system for which the agreement's going to be used for. The documentation is to cover the movement, protection, and reliability of the interconnection agreement based on its importance to the business. We go through the different steps of the agreement, starting with Section 1, which is a statement of requirements. The statement of requirements is between, in this case, Branch Staten, the Staten home business, and we're going to set this up as if it's a business that I'll be conducting with eBay. It's going to be for the express purpose of acting as a sales platform for my home business, owned by me, and including PayPal as a financial institution, and it's going to be owned by the eBay Corporation. So my business using eBay checkout process and their corporation, they're going to require the rights to process sales on my behalf, and the expected benefit is to process sales for my business while generating revenue based on the auctions that they manage for their profit. So Section 1, Statement of Requirement. Section 2 is going to include the system security. And there's a lot of factors that go into this, a lot of things that need to be included in this part of it, and so we're going to go through those one by one. So the elements of the system security, first of all, will include general information, data description, the interconnection between PayPal and my home business. It's a two-way path. The purpose of the interconnection is to deliver sales data to the PayPal checkout servers and to process payments to the financial institution of my home business, so my bank. The services offered in this case are going to be in accordance with eBay and PayPal's licensing agreements, and as with different language would include, it shall not be modified beyond the services offered to all other general public customers. Data sensitivity needs to be covered in system security, so the sensitivity of data exchange between eBay and my home business is considered high, based on the transfer of customer personal banking and credit information. The community that we're going to engage with is going to be a worldwide community, except as where eBay's policies or U.S. trade law dictates that we can't do stuff, so that's going to be covered under eBay's laws and regulations. These inclusions are subject to immediate modification based on either the preference of my business or any laws that change. Then we're going to have information security exchange. So the information passed between me and eBay, it's a two-way connection. eBay has a lot of encryption mechanisms. They meet the federal requirements. Connections are at each end and are located within the controlled access facilities. Individual users won't have access to the data except through their system security software, and all access is controlled by authentication methods to validate approved users. So that's going to be my password and then whatever systems that they have on the back end. Next part of the elements, trusted behavior expectations. So this one's got some elements directly from eBay's policy. It's what is expected of me and of eBay and of PayPal, since they're one of their subsidiaries. Users are expected to protect the personal data of all parties with whom any data is exchanged, whether transactional or otherwise, in accordance with all applicable federal laws. And then eBay has some exceptions to this, such as items not authorized under their acceptable use policy, licenses for digital content and digital goods, claims, chargebacks, and reversals for things significantly not as described. Several other things, but basically these are the things that could go wrong with a transaction for which they've got some protection built into their regulations. Following this, there'll be a formal security policy, and that's going to govern the protection of the data that's in my home business, and eBay and PayPal's information technology security policies and standards. Incident reporting is part of discovering when something happens and it needs to be raised to the attention of eBay, PayPal, or my home business. For eBay, it's going to be managed through their resolution center, and it's going to be managed according to their existing policy. Because they're an international business and because they represent transactions that are subject to federal trade laws, they're going to have regulations that are dictated by those. And my home business practices are going to be managed in accordance with my own finances and in accordance with the legal obligations that I have specifically to the IRS. So if I have to report taxes on income from any of my sales. The audit trail responsibilities is something that is handled by each individual side of this transaction. eBay monitors user activities involving the internet connections. Activities that are recorded for them on their end are going to include event type, date, time of event, user identifications, workstation identifications, success or failure of access attempts, and security actions taken by system administrators or security officers. The audit trail on my end is not required for this agreement, so therefore it would not be included in the agreement. I'm responsible for being able to track my own actions. I could do this by way of a spreadsheet, or if I wanted to build something more complex, I could have logs tracking the transactions through a computer. The next section for the interconnection security agreement is the drawing. This is just that shows how these things work, and you can have a whole lot of different levels of detail in this. For the most part, this is generally supposed to represent how the transactions take place, the components that are involved in the business, and for most people it will be how you can demonstrate things taking place, everything occurring. So in this, you see my business and some of the hardware associated with it, central to the revenue generation, my financial institution, where PayPal gets involved, eBay's servers, all connected through the internet. And for a different business, there would probably be a larger model. Finally, as you're going through the agreement, you need to get to the approval section of the interconnection agreement. It should include a set period for which the agreement is to be valid, signature fields for representatives of each organization who have the authority to sign for their respective businesses or services. So here's mine. So real quickly, covered the statement of requirements, system security considerations including general information, data description, the services offered, data sensitivity and how that's managed, the community that's going to be part of the business transaction, how information exchange is going to be secured, the behavior expectations between the two trusted parties, what the formal security policy would be, how we would manage incident reporting on both sides of the transaction, what our obligations are for auditing the transactions, and then a drawing that shows this. Finally, how things are approved, and that would be with the signature authority. And in the paper that I submitted, of course, there are the references that, well, I've shown those to the professor. So thank you again. I hope that this was beneficial to you in some way, somehow.